Good morning, Teach Better family. My name is Katie Miglin, and this is Joshua Stamper, and we are here to bring you your Teach Better Today morning show, where we go live every single morning on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And the goal is that we make you smile, bring some joy to your heart, but also drop you some educational nuggets, and hopefully we can do just that today. So we will be right back. Go ahead and refill your coffee and drop where you're at and what you're looking forward to this week in the comments below. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome to Teach Better Today. My name is Katie Miglin, and I am with the amazing and talented Joshua _Stamper. Josh, how are you today?
Well, after hearing you intro me, I feel great.
Josh, is it like 4 a.m. or some ridiculous time at your house? Are you like still sipping your coffee today?
I'm always sipping coffee. I got my Batman mug this morning, and yeah, it's cold. Okay, I'm this. I know we talk weather, probably me and you more than we should.
Yes.
That and coffee, but this time of year is just so confusing. I mean, like 2 days ago, it was 60 degrees, sunny, beautiful. Me and the kids were outside, and then like yesterday, it hailed for like 20 minutes, and then which was like I don't know if you've ever experienced hail for 20 minutes, but it feels like forever, which then turned into snow. Now, granted, not much of it stuck on the ground, but it's just disgusting. Like, just choose one or the other. Like, let's make a decision here.
I would agree with that. I don't like this time of year. We had similar. It was like we had a random day that was pretty cold, and I like left the house. I didn't have a coat on, and my husband was like, "You're not wearing a coat. It's like 30 degrees." And I said, "Once you ditch it, you can't go back." Like I'm sorry. I'm committed to being cold at this point because I refuse to put a coat back on. But I'm like sick of the like we take the winter coats, wash them, put them away, and then like 2 days later I have to pull them back out. I'm with you. I just need some consistency. It's very hard to navigate.
I'm actually blaming you and Mark Horner for bringing out your patio furniture, which then brought the cold.
I did not bring it out. I blame Mark Horner. I did not bring it out, but I did. Okay, maybe I can take some of the blame because I did buy some new outdoor cushions, and those are sitting in my garage, like ready to see the outside world.
Yeah.
So sorry.
That was the kiss of death right there.
As soon as you pushed the really
purchase button, I knew snow was coming.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, guys. When we get that big snowstorm, feel free to send me some evil DMs. Okay. Well, sorry, guys. Hey, I do want to discuss something we haven't talked about, and I'm sure they'll talk about it on Monday, but there's like a big event happening on Monday. Is it like big in Colorado? The solar eclipse.
Katie, I barely know what day it is.
Okay.
I don't know about you. I don't know the weather. I don't know the day. I barely know when my kids go to school. So.
Okay. Here's, I think, the takeaway.
I think I've admitted that before.
Someone needs to send Josh just a morning message and say, "Hello, Josh. Today is Tuesday, April, whatever."
Yeah. I need a personal assistant.
Yes, you really do. I think there is such a thing. I think they have like robots or like.
I need a robot. That's what I need. I'm hoping that AI advances quickly to the degree that I just have this like AI robot personal assistant that wakes me up, tells me what my schedule is, how to prepare for my day, both with weather. You're looking at me like I'm strange.
No, I'm pretty sure this thing exists. I'm trying to think of how I can say it without alerting mine. It's the Amazon A.
Alexa, play music.
You're so mean.
There's a mix for you.
Oh, snap. Mine went off. No.
Alexa, stop. Payback. So yes,
that thing going off right now.
I did. See, that's what happens to Josh.
That's what it backfired.
And you know that there's a bunch of people who are yelling at us right now because there's probably in the house also going off. Okay, that thing that Josh just set off, my now 9-year-old just figured out, not just, but she has a routine set on hers. So every morning when she says like a off, it tells her the weather, the day of the week, and like anything that's like important in the country. So, today is National Hot Dog Day or whatever. And I'm like, that is genius, but it sounds like that's what you need. So it sounds just like you need to set up a routine. I can have Harper walk you through those steps if you need.
Yeah, I need to get on a conference call with Harper as soon as possible. So
Yeah.
I'll just have my people call your people and we'll get that set up.
Perfect. Well, okay. So Monday, and I'm going to be honest, I only remembered that it's coming up because we got a paper in our kids' backpack.
Whatever. You have it
No.
highlighted on the calendar. You've been planning this for a year.
Honestly, no, because Chad Ostrowski was supposed to be at a school in Ohio. All of Ohio is closed now on Monday to be able to celebrate this day, to see it, which is super, super cool. But I knew that was on the horizon because I had to like work with him on rebooking something. But then our daughters just came home with papers in their backpack that we had to give permission to say, like, if they go outside to look at it, they have to wear like proper eye gear to protect them from seeing it. Which I was like, oh, this is coming up. I forgot that's next week. So is it like a big, I'm going to sound like a really big idiot right now. So just like bear with me. Is it a big deal in Colorado as well? Because I know some of
no.
have.
No. Yeah, no. I know of people that have talked about it, both here in the States and just people that I've had meetings with all over the country have made mention about how excited they are about it. So I know that the last time, I think there was a clip not that long ago, because I took my kids to a park in Colorado Springs and they had, the little devices so that you don't blind yourself when you look up. And they had a bunch of like science tables and they had experiments and it was a whole giant thing. So, like, I know it is a big deal and they have things set up for it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yes, there was one not that long ago. It was actually during COVID. And the only reason I remember that is I still have a picture when I was in the classroom with students and we had masks and the glasses on. So like that's why.
Yeah, I remember as the administrator, we built it into our day for everyone to go outside. And yes.
Okay. Well, I would love to I know they're probably gonna talk about it on Monday, maybe. But I would love to hear how people are celebrating it, what you're doing. Is your school have school? Is it not like a big deal? Or is it something that you're just telling kids to go try and don't blind themselves? I would just kind of love to kind of hear the gamut of where we're at in the country and how it's going. So drop some comments in the chat either today or on Monday.
Josh, don't blind yourself.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway. Don't look at it. That's what I've learned. So
I want everyone to notice when you push the button and the video plays, I always laugh when Katie jumps into the picture.
Selfie bombing.
Just enjoy that. Just enjoy that while the video goes on.
I hate you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Teach Better family. Everyone but Josh. Yes, at the conference that I realized the other day, it was like a really long time ago, and it makes me sad.
So long.
But yes, I like to. Is it selfie bombing? Photo bombing? What do you call that?
I don't know, but ever since that video was created, I laugh every time I see it. But it also brings me back to that amazing few days that we had in Ohio.
Yeah, it was awesome. And definitely something we need to redo. Who knows when, but yes, it was a fun weekend. Fun to see a lot of our network in person, which conferences are always great for that, regardless if it's ours or others. They're just fun to be a part of them. So excited to kind of hear and see some future conferences that are coming on the horizon. I know we've gotten ton of information recently from conferences that are happening either this summer or, next
Yeah.
year that we are applying to. So hopefully we can kind of connect with some of those people in person in the next year.
Yeah, we've already started scheduling those out for us to start speaking at some. So I'm excited about specifically the summer ones.
Yeah, it's crazy that like those I feel like we talked about for so long that it's crazy that they're, close, like we're actually booking travel and stuff
Mhm.
here soon. So we always love when we get to see our network in person. So if you are ever going to a conference, we'd love for you to tag us or just reach out and see if we're going to be there because we do try to go to as many conferences throughout the country. And so it's just fun to like be able to connect, even just do dinner, grab a drink, whatever, with some
Yeah.
people that we typically only see virtually. So Josh, we were kind of talking before we started this segment. We were talking about like high school courses and how
Mm.
there's seems to be like a shift. And I know we have a listener question that kind of asked the same question about like off-campus lunch or
Mhm.
off-campus classes and just like I would love to kind of just pick your brain a little bit about some of those courses, especially as this time of year people may be starting to think about what their catalogs look like, registrations happening, whether you're registering your own student in your home or you're looking for, what to recommend to students in your classrooms. There has been seemingly a shift in
Mhm.
how we view classes and how we view
Yeah.
courses that are taken. And the idea that a student doesn't necessarily have to be in your classroom in a seat for 100% of the class. There seems to be kind of a shift where some things are offered virtually. What are your thoughts on this like new wave of thinking?
Well, I think I love it personally. I know that, a lot of people didn't like virtual learning during COVID
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons. Now, I will say in my own house, my two oldest that were going through virtual learning were extremely successful in it and
Mhm.
loved it. They loved being home. They loved kind of having a unique schedule that didn't require them to be sitting in a classroom for 8 hours. And
Mhm.
so, with that, I think a lot of school districts have seen the possibilities based on the use of technology and going virtual and having online to be able to have like unique setups for scheduling, specifically with
Mhm.
high school. And so I think that there's a lot of benefit with that in the sense that there's a lot of wasted time, let's be honest, in education. And so I think with high schoolers specifically, I know, Katie, you have an example for a senior and
Mhm.
not having to be in the classroom all the time. A lot of times they can do studies and they can find alternatives to help them to transition from the classroom to the real world.
Yeah.
And I think any opportunity that we can do that is beneficial. In addition to the fact, and this was a conversation that we had on Tuesday with our admin mastermind, was just the issue with staffing. And
Mhm.
someone threw out in the chat just the fact that because of sickness and subs and the shortage, a district just said we don't have enough to support our students in person, so
Right.
it's a virtual day. And I think with the staffing issues that it might come to it where districts are going to have to lean on virtual environments to make sure that education is still occurring. So I think, there's a lot of things that are happening that are requiring districts to be a little more creative. Um, and I think staffing is a part of that equation.
That's such a good point. Like it could be a way to problem solve a hopefully temporary issue with being able to meet the needs of your students and having staff.
Mhm.
But I also think you kind of touched on it. We know that not all students learn the same way. We know that
Yep.
some students like yours in your house, really did well with that independence of being able to create their own schedule, access the materials needed. We see that often when we do mastery learning trainings with schools
Yep.
that obviously is a big part of that. But I think the other piece of that is this can't be something that necessarily, and maybe it can, but not necessarily open to all students because I don't think all
No.
students benefit from that ability to create their own schedule. Some students K through 12 still need some structure. They still need that support. They need to be able to, the second they don't understand something, be able to find the teacher and help them immediately. So I do think it's finding that sweet spot of what are the expectations? What are the criteria that a student needs to have met in
Mhm.
order to have some of these? And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a benefit. Maybe it is, maybe that's what some students need to be motivated, but just an alternate learning style. And yeah, you referenced one of our neighbors is a senior, and I joked with her one day. I'm like, you are always home. Like, I see you in the neighborhood all the time. As someone who works from home, I see a lot more neighborhood traffic.
Yep.
And she has an alternate learning style for her senior year. She had the GPA that met the expectations. So she is able to have a class that some days meets in person and then other days is virtual. So she can come home. She's also able to do off-campus lunch. So she's able to come home. She stays home for lunch and then she does her virtual classes. And I just think it's so interesting because the idea is that she could handle it. She handled the in-person classes, exceptionally well as an underclassman. So now as a senior, she's kind of gets that benefit to be able to like spread her wings a little bit. I know down here, a big shift is also having students go and try their career path.
Yep.
So as a senior, they can take, I think some of the juniors too, but juniors and seniors can take classes that push them into the workforce. So I had students that were from the high school that were just testing out to see what does it take to be a teacher? What are some of the things that I would need to do? And it gives them a little bit of exposure so that when they are paying for their continuing education, their college path, then maybe they're a little bit more confident. And I do think that it's such a cool shift that we don't all need to provide the exact same schedule and layout and structure for every single student, that we can provide some flexibility while also setting them up for the real world. Because like you said, being able to be flexible as far as, okay, you have to create your own schedule. You're going to work this afternoon, but you do need to complete these assignments is a skill they need to know going forward.
Yeah, 100%. And it reminds me of, so we had an alternative high school, and not in like a negative term. It was literally a project-based high school for 10th through 12th grade in Plano, Texas. And it was like my dream job. Like if I could be an admin of this building, it would be awesome, because it was literally set up for high schoolers to take the time that they needed to work on whatever subject at any point. It was like, hey, this lecture is going to happen at 11 a.m. If you need the support or need more information, you can attend it or not. It's up to you. And so they were working in collaboration with other people for projects that they would then pitch to their teacher, or even sometimes like a local company. And just the whole setup was just brilliant. And it was an alternative way of thinking, but it also gave those future ready skills to those kids to depict when they needed to do what they needed to do at their own time and at their own pace. Now, I will say that some people flourished in that environment, and there were others that spent maybe half a school year and it was like, no, I can't do this. I need more structure. It's not conducive to my learning needs. And so then they would transfer back to whatever high school that they were zoned for, right? So I think what you're saying there is true, is like there needs to be some requirements, but at the same point, I think we do need to have learning environments that are set up differently for different folks, because there are some folks that, some kids that are very self-motivated. They are very structured and with their own time and are able to expand in that environment. And that's exactly what they need. And then there are others that do need the traditional structure that is currently set up. So, I mean, if a district can roll something out that's a little bit more creative and unique for those individual needs, I'm all for it.
Well, and how cool would it be for a student to stumble and fall and learn what it means to set their own schedule when it's lower risk versus they try to do that when they're in college and they're paying for those courses. They're not cheap. And a student fails a class that they then have to pay again. I feel like that sets them up for a little bit more failure versus in high school when it's like, this isn't going well. You've got people kind of keeping an eye on that. Let's get you back into more of a traditional setting and kind of establish some of those behaviors before we let you go again. I think there's so much benefit to that. So I would love to hear if this is something that's happening kind of all over. If you work for a district that provides that, please let us know kind of some details, especially as we share ideas. If someone's like hearing this and thinking, oh, this is something that maybe we should consider, we'd love to kind of get people connected so that we can talk through the logistics of that, because obviously we see it firsthand with, students in our communities, but we would love to know kind of that top level thinking of how did it roll out. So Josh, this is a fun conversation just to kind of talk through and kind of think through just out of that box thinking I'm always down for. So thanks so much for jumping in this morning.
Well, just like you geek out with the eclipse, I geek out with alternative schedules.
Okay, people, can someone tell Josh that there's a reason we should be geeking out? I don't know all the reasons, but I think it's a big deal. So, all right, you guys have a great day, rest of your week. Whenever you decide to listen to us, if you're joining us on our podcast, thank you so much. If you're joining us for the start of your day, we appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, love.
Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.